The big meeting hall of the Caliph Dominion had never been this quiet. Rows and rows of alien leaders sat still, their eyes fixed on a small blue glowing picture floating in the middle of the room. It was Earth. A tiny world that most of the galaxy had almost forgotten. But today, this small planet was at the center of the biggest vote in 1,000 years. Ambassador Vren Talcoric stood up slowly. His voice was calm, but cold. The humans have had many chances to prove they are useful to this council. They said no to 3 trade deals. They said no to 2 military alliances. Now they will not even answer our final message. I say we remove them from our protection list and let them face the Drev Empire alone. A wave of noise spread through the room, clicking, humming, low growls from 100 different alien species. For years, humans had been seen as the strange, stubborn outsiders of the galaxy. A group that came late, spoke little, and trusted no one. Some called them cowards. Others called them foolish. Almost no one called them dangerous, because almost no one had really taken the time to understand them. At the edge of the room, standing quietly in the shadows, was the only human allowed inside. Commander Elena Reyes did not stand up to argue. She did not raise her voice. She just watched the vote happen, her face calm and serious. When the final result appeared, glowing red across the room, it confirmed that Earth's protection was gone. Instead of fear, instead of pleading, Elena did something strange. She gave a small, sad smile. "You have made your choice," she said softly, but her words cut through the noisy room like a knife. "Now we will make ours." She turned and walked out. Her footsteps echoed on the shiny floor. The alien leaders looked at each other, confused. They had expected fear. They had expected begging. Instead, they saw a woman who almost looked relieved. None of them understood what they had just done. They thought they were punishing humanity by removing them from protection. But really, they had just given humanity exactly what it had been quietly waiting for. 3 days later, strange things began to happen. Ships started disappearing. At first, it was small. A supply convoy near human space stopped answering calls. Then a research base on a frozen moon went silent. The Dominion barely noticed. Humans were known to be quiet and secretive, so this seemed normal to them. But soon, entire fleets began vanishing. Not destroyed. Not damaged. Just gone, as if they had never existed. On the far edge of space, a young Caliph officer named Issa Dorith stared at her screen in shock. 3 warships had disappeared right in front of her eyes. "Report," she said into her radio, her hands shaking. "Someone tell me what just happened." No one answered. There was no one left to answer. The news spread fast. Fear turned into panic. Some said humans had built a weapon that could erase whole fleets. Others whispered that this was something even stranger, something no one in the galaxy had a name for. Deep underground, in a hidden base on a planet no alien map had ever correctly marked, Elena Reyes stood in front of a wall of glowing screens. Beside her stood Dr. Mikhail Anders, one of humanity's smartest scientists. His eyes looked tired, but sharp and focused. "They still don't understand," Mikhail said quietly. "They think we are attacking them." "We're not attacking," Elena replied. "We're leaving. There's a big difference, even if they can't see it yet." For many years, humans had lived quietly on the edge of galactic society, watching and learning. While other species argued and fought over politics, humans spent their time working on something far more important: patience. In secret labs hidden across the solar system, scientists had been working on one impossible goal: a way to fold space itself. A way to move entire fleets, cities, and people instantly from one place to another, without traveling through the space in between. They called it the Threshold Project. After 30 years of failure and sacrifice, it finally worked. The disappearing ships were not being destroyed. They were being saved. One by one, every human ship, every base, every person humanity called their own, was being pulled through invisible doors in space to a new home far beyond the reach of the Dominion. A safe place. A new beginning. Somewhere no one else in the galaxy even knew existed. But leaving was not the whole plan. Because humanity remembered everything, every insult, every closed door, every broken promise. And most of all, they remembered exactly who had voted, just days earlier, to remove Earth's protection and leave billions of innocent people open to attack from the Drev Empire. The Drev had been circling human space for over a year, waiting for a chance to attack. Now that the Dominion had removed its protection, the Drev fleet moved quickly, sure that no one would defend a species already abandoned by its own allies. They expected to find open cities and empty skies to conquer. Instead, they found nothing. Silent planets. Empty orbits. Every human city, every base, every person, gone, as if humanity had disappeared overnight. For the first time in centuries, the Drev commanders were confused and afraid to move forward. Back in the Dominion's capital, panic spread through the halls of power. Ambassador Vren Talkorik stood before an emergency meeting, his confidence gone, replaced by fear. "They're gone," he said, his voice shaking. "Not defeated. Not destroyed. Just gone. And no one knows where." A younger leader, one of the few who had voted against removing Earth's protection, stood up slowly. "We didn't push them out of the galaxy," he said quietly. "We pushed them into hiding. And now we have no idea what they are capable of, or what they will do next." No one could answer him. Because deep in that hidden base, far beyond any known star map, Elena Reyes was already thinking about what would happen next. Not retreat. Not fear. A plan, carefully built over many years, patiently waiting, and now, finally, ready to begin. "They think we ran because we were scared," she said, looking at a glowing map of the galaxy in front of her. "Let them keep thinking that, for now." Behind her, Mikhail turned on another screen. It showed dozens of new ships being built in the shadows of humanity's new hidden home. Ships made not with stolen alien technology, but with new ideas the galaxy had never even imagined. Weapons built not for conquest, but for something the Dominion, in all its pride, had never once prepared for. Consequences. Far above the empty skies of Earth, the Drev fleet waited, confused and careful, not knowing they were being watched. Not knowing that the empty planet below them was not a victory, it was a warning. And far beyond the reach of any spy or scanner, humanity waited. Quiet. Patient. And for the first time in its long, difficult history among the stars, completely and truly unafraid. Follow for part 2, and comment next if you want to see what happens when the Drev fleet finally makes their move.